No, you're good. All right, so I keep my video camera in my office, and like I said, if you ever need me, and even if it's last minute, you just text me and say, Miss Pipper, I'm gonna be out. Can you video class today? No big deal. And sometimes if there's a lecture that you're going, ooh, this is gonna be hard, I don't know what we're doing, just tell me to bring out the video camera. And I mean, it's no big deal. I video it, I put it on YouTube, and I send y'all the link.
I literally would not miss your class because I'd be afraid.
I know. But if there's ever a time that I don't want you to share your germs with me. So yeah, if you're sick or if the person that's out has a family member that's in the hospital not doing well, and so she said, I don't want to miss another day and I'm scared, can I come to another class? And this is my only class that I'm teaching of y'all. If I was teaching 2 of y'all's classes, then yeah, you can come to another one of my classes, I don't care. I teach the same thing and I usually keep them together, but this is my only 107 this semester. So, since you can't come to another class, sure, I'll video. So, my first question was, what if you're on a screen, like let's say you got into a screen or accidentally hit a button and you can't get out of it? Well, what most of y'all do is you cut the calculator off and put it back on and hope and pray that you're out of that screen. But, I accidentally hit this button. Well, if I hit clear, it's not going to ever get me out of that screen. So, there is an escape button on your calculator. It's like the quit button or the escape button for your computer. If you notice, it's written in blue. It says quit. So you have to hit the blue button or the yellow button according to when your calculator was made. You hit the blue button and you hit the button beside it. So it's second quit, and it will get you out or escape from where you are. So I'm going to do second quit, and that takes you back to the home screen. That's like the escape button. Cool? Alright, so we are inching our way closer day by day to spring break. Today is the 22nd. The last day with me before spring break is a week from today, and then you have a week off. Okay? My goal is to finish chapter 4 before we go to spring break. So we have today, Tuesday, and Thursday, and we only have 19 pages left. And it's really 18 because this page just told us about how many days we have left. So, we had done a good bit of 4.1. And if I pull up handouts and study sheets, and I pull up the 3 and 4 test, 4.1 is a huge chunk of your test. So, calculate the mean, we've already done. If I give you data, calculate the mean. Calculate the median, we've already done. Calculate the mode, we've already done. We're working right now, and we did a little bit of these when we were here last time. It says, given data, what do I need to make on the next test? That's my what ifs. If these are my grades, what do I need to make on the next test? This is when we got rid of the hussy downstairs. Okay? And we're going to do another one of those. So we still have weighted average and GPA to do. Okay? So, with that being said, you did enough of these last time to introduce them to you. I want to see what you can do with these right now. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 grades in sociology. I want to know what is the mean or average of these scores as they sit. What do you need on the next score to make a 75 overall? And if the maximum score is 100, what is the maximum average you can have in the class? So there's 3 different answers. I am going to come around and look. Three different answers. All right, Tori is here. DJ is here. Myra is not. Stacia is not. Krisha is here. Amy is here. Jacob is here. Reed
She goes,
Jane is here, Carlita is Shatika is not. There's gonna be some other people that are gonna be thanking her for letting me.
what's the step there? Oh, it's that. Go over one.
Ariel, send me after class and we'll talk about that question you emailed me about.
And then
Okay.
enter again, and you're gonna have 2 pages of answers. And use your down arrow to go down. But what oh, yes, I have a difference. Calculation that didn't do that. The very first one, the X with the line over the top, is your name. To the second page, and you'll find the,
Six and say you should be done by now. Where's your first answer?
do you know what mode it is?
Okay. I just need the minutes.
Find the scores in this case.
First do the minutes, and then tell me what I need to have to get on the next exam to give me an overall average of a 75.
So,
And then what do I have if I make 100 on the last test?
numbers.
Okay,
If
now what's the answer to,
none, there would be no
What's the answer?
mode.
Oh,
Put zero,
never
because
mind.
Zero.
You're
could
right
be
on all three.
or is a number. So
You're right on all
if you
three.
don't have any interview with it, it's no mode.
there's 3 questions there, Cooper.
I know.
Oh, you working on one?
Reason
I
behind that.
thought you were sitting there doing nothing. I like your
You got
first.
three answers now.
Yeah.
Now, these, I don't know. Green is the first one. Right. And then your median
Calculator anything for you.
is down here. Oh, here.
I just don't remember some steps.
Were you here last week? Okay,
Oh.
you're gonna do stat, she showed you how to do stat count, stat edit. You typed in all the numbers,
Maybe one.
so you typed in the 60, the 70, the 65, the 85, and the 85. So you type it, so she's done that part,
So
so you
this
do
part now, I'm
60,
gonna be a little lost because I was busy writing.
And then enter.
That's ridiculous.
and then do the 70, enter, and then the 65, enter, and then the 85, enter, then the 85, enter. So when you do stat edit, you're editing the calculator, you're
This is
plugging it
a
in.
formula,
Then you
which
go
is
back
on
and
the
you do
formula
stat
sheet,
calc.
which is in my
Stat, and then you go over to
If
calc.
I'm not mistaken.
That means you're telling the calculator to
we
work it out
have
for you.
5 tasks.
And then you're gonna hit enter because one more stats is like elementary basic stats, which is what we're doing. And then you do enter again, you have to do enter, enter, enter. It's just according to when your calculator's made.
Right.
Okay, X bar, X with the line over it, that represents your mean, which is what I wanna know for the first answer. Now, also last time, see how there's a down arrow right there? That means there's 2 pages of answers. Median, we also did last time. Median is the middle number. The middle number is gonna be 70, which I didn't ask you this time, but I will ask you eventually. Like, remember when I was on the spreadsheet and I said, what is the median, what is the mean? This is gonna be the median. So for the first answer, the X bar is the mean. Okay, the last 2, you can also do this one in there because you would have one more score. The other score would be 100. So you would go back to stat edit. You would go back to stat edit and you would put in another score of 100. You got answers?
And it's going to be divided by 6.
More answers? Good. Okay. like the first two. Okay, you got answer for the last one, are you still working? You got all three right.
I just said 20.
Don't make it small. Like the first one. All right, y'all ready for me? Okay, I'm good. Who was not here last time? I know Tanya wasn't. Okay, we got a couple that weren't here last time. Okay, let me show you how to do the mean in your calculator, new school. We know how to do it old school. Old school is when you add them up and divide by how many numbers you have. New school, you're going to hit the stat button. The stat button is for using statistics, which we are in statistics class. So you hit the stat button, and then you hit edit. So stat edit, stat enter, stat enter. Now, if you're using one of my calculators probably have data in there. And even if it doesn't have data now, it's going to have data in just a minute, so you need to know how to clear it out. To clear it out, you go up to the title, and you hit clear enter. So you go to the up arrow to the title and hit clear enter. Now, you're going to type in your data because we're in stat edit. So we're going to type in the data. So 60 enter, 60 enter, 70 enter, 65 enter, 85 enter, 85. We have 5 pieces of data, so we are on line 6 when we are done. Now, I'm going to move this down just so that I can show you what I did, for those of you who were not here last time. So, I put it right there. I did stat, edit, then I went up, and I did clear enter, and I put in my data. Okay? Now, I'm going to go back to the stat button, and I'm going to go over to calculate. So once we edit the problem and plug it in, we now want to work it out. So we do stat calc, and we choose the very first one because we're just learning how to do this, so we're doing one variable statistics. We're doing easy breezy stuff. Now, in my calculator, I have to hit enter 3 times. In some of your calculators, you may only have to hit enter 1 time. So I have to hit enter, enter, enter. You may only have to hit enter 1 time. So I did stat, over to calculate, and I chose the one that said 1 bar stats, which means 1 variable statistics, which is the easy stuff. Now, notice when I hit enter, 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 I get all of this crap with an arrow. That arrow means I can go down, 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 and I can choose a whole nother page of data. Okay, so I have 2 pages of data. Now, the 2 things that we talked about last time, we talked about mean. Mean is called your X bar, your X with the line over it. We also talked about median, which this problem didn't ask about median, but I'm just reviewing. Your median is your MED located on the 2nd page. This problem didn't want to know it, but I'm just going over it just in case. And we also learned last time about mode. Mode cannot be done in the calculator, which is sad, but if I had to do anything by hand, I would like to do the mode by hand. Mode is the number that appears the most. So if I come up here, which grade appears the most?
85.
85. So my mode is going to be 85. So if I type in my data under stat edit, and I work it out under stat calc 1 bar stats, the calculator will give me the mean and the median. I have to do the mode, which is the number or numbers that appear the most. But for this problem, all I needed was the mean. of the grades that were given to me. Are we good? Now, for part B, this is my what if. What do I need to make on my next test to get an average of a 75? Now, I can't use this because I don't know what that grade is. And the calculator can only work it out if it knows all the grades. So I'm going to have to do old school on this because I don't know all the grades. So my average, or my mean, your teacher is mean when they calculate your average. My average is when you add up all the scores and divide by how many numbers you have. So the scores that I have to use are the 60, 70, 65, 85, and 85. So the 60, the 70, 65, 85, and 85. Thank you. I have to use those because the teacher already has those written in her grade book. I can't do anything with those because I can't take them away because the teacher's already got them in red in her grade book. So I have to do all those, but I also have a next exam. And what am I going to divide that by? 6, because I have 5 grades I've already taken and 1 grade I haven't taken, so there's 6 grades that's going to be in account. And what do I want that average to equal?
75.
A 75. Okay? The first thing, and this is the one that's going to screw everybody up. Right, Ariel? First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add up all the yellow grades because I cannot change those. So all of my yellow grades are going to add up to 365. So it's going to be 365 plus x over 6 equals 75. 365 plus x over 365 plus x over 6 equals 75. Here is the part you're going to screw it up on. This is the tricky part. You got to get rid of the hussy downstairs. Remember we talked about last time, everybody wants to do this. They want to divide. This is you and your boyfriend living upstairs. And this is that single lady downstairs. We cannot let that single lady creep in on my man. We got to get rid of that single lady. So how do we get rid of the single lady? How is she held to us? By division. So how am I going to move her? Multiply her. She ain't going to get with my man while we dating. We not married. It's Sue and Bob. We dating. We not married. But so we got to get rid of her. We got to multiply by 6 and multiply by 6 so I can kick her to the curb. I got to do the opposite of what I'm showing. I'm showing division by 6, so I multiply by 6. So I come over here to my calculator. 6 times 75 is 450. Equals 365 plus x. Well, now that we got rid of the hussy, we're going to get rid of the boyfriend. Well, what's the opposite of adding a boyfriend?
Subtract.
Subtracting a boyfriend. Now, I am all alone and can do what I want to do. So to get my answer, it's going to be 450 minus the boyfriend. There's my answer. So, think about what we're solving for. What was x way up here? What did that represent? My next test grade. So this is telling me that I need an 85 on my next test to get what for my overall average? A 75 overall average. That's what I just solved for. Now, if you're worried about it, we can come back over here, try some new school. We can go back into Stat Edit, Now, do you agree the 5 grades that are in there are the yellow grades? If I scroll down to the bottom, I want to put an 85 in there. So if I type in an 85 as this next grade, and I do stat, calc, 1 var stats. Now, before I hit calculate, what do you think my average is going to be?
75.
A 75 average. Boop, there it is. Or I could have gone old school. I could have said 60 plus 70 plus 65 plus 85 plus 85 plus the unknown grade, which we just said was an 85, divided by 6, there's my overall average of a 75. Does that make sense? All right. Now, the last one says if the maximum score on the exam is 100, the teacher doesn't give extra credit, doesn't give bonus points, the most you can make on a test is 100. What is the maximum average that you can make in the class? Okay, so how am I going to do that one?
You take all the numbers in yellow and add 1 to
Amen. Let me steal, oops, am I stealing, let me steal this, and this, and this, and this, and this, and let me copy, and let me paste. So do you agree we still have all of these numbers that are in my teacher's book?
Yes.
But this time, it's not saying what should I make to get a certain average. It's saying, okay, now I'm being greedy. What if I make 100? What is the highest score that I can get in the class? So, we can either do it old school, which would be 60 plus 70 plus 65 plus 6 plus 85. Let me back that thing up. Oh, there we go. Plus 85 plus 100 divided by 6. That's the highest average I'm going to make in the class. Or I can do it new school. I can go stat edit. I have my 60, I have my 70, I have my 65, I have my 85, I have my 85. That last grade I'm going to change to 100. Then I'm going to do stat calc, 1 var stats. There it is, new school. So either way, we are saying if I make 100 on the next test, my average for the class would be a 77.5. Make sense? Ariel, does that help?
I know that's what
Okay. Now, if we look at our spreadsheet, it says, given data, what grade do you need on the next test? So am I giving you A? What is your current average? Am I giving you B? Yeah. So this is the one that's going to be on your test. It's not going to be A, it's not going to be C, it's going to be B. That is going to be on your test. Alright, so there's that one. All 3 parts are going to be in your homework, but that one's going to be on your test. Now, what we've been doing so far, all the grades weighed the same. You know, you took 5 tests, they all weighed the same, you add them up and divide by 5. Now we're going to be doing weighted averages, which a lot of time, in this class, your test weighs a lot more than your homework. All your homework weigh the same and your tests weigh more, which is why when you were doing your homework and then you took your test and you're like, bam or bam, because your test weighed 20% and all of your homework together weighed 10%. So it's weighted differently. in D2L, there's a lot of teachers who don't know how to set up D2L. And you have all these grades, and then they say, figure out your final average, because they don't know how to figure it out and make it D2L do it, okay? And so you have to figure out how to do D2L. Now, they give you a formula, and I see a lot of you writing down the formula. That's how you do it. That's how you do it. I do it a little bit differently. Okay, so let's look at it. I'm going to show you how I do it versus how my math lab does it. This is what it's saying in words, and then this is what it's saying in symbols, okay? In symbols, what do we say sigma meant? Sum or add. So it's saying add the value times its weight and divide it by all the sums of the weights. Okay? I'm going to show you an example, and it's going to make so much more sense. And y'all, this is so real life to y'all as students. Y'all get projects. No, I mean, not in here. Y'all just have homework and tests. I ain't doing all this other crap. But in a lot of your classes, y'all get midterms, and y'all get projects, and y'all get homework, and y'all get final exams, and y'all get blah, blah, blah. And they all weigh different things. Yeah. I mean, y'all have finals in here, but your final weighs the same thing your test does. Even though your final is on everything, it weighs the same thing as a test. It's just like another test. I ain't into all that. Okay, so this is saying you have a midterm that counts 15%, a class project that counts 20%, homework that counts 40%, a final exam that counts 25%, and these are your grades. Okay? So, I'm going to color coordinate because that's what I do. We have a midterm that's 15%, and you made a 75. So we're going to do 0.15, because y'all know I like to woo-woo. 0.15 times 75. So your grade times your percentage, or your percentage times your grade. Go with me? Plus, we go to the next one. Your project counts 20%, and you made a 90 on your project. So what do you think I'm going to write?
0.20.
0.20 times 90. Plus 40% is for your homework, and you made an 85. So what am I going to write? 0.40 times 85. Oops, got to throw in my black plus. Plus, your exam is 25%, and you made a 72. 0.25 times 72. So I go to my calculator, and I'm going to do 0.15 times 75 plus 0.20 times 90 plus 0.40 times 85 plus 0.25 times 72. There's my average. So if you have a bunch of tests, like let's say you have 3 tests, you add up those 3 tests, divide by 3, because those all count the same. You add those 3 tests up, count, divide by 3. That's your test average. You would take that test average and multiply it by the percent. Then if you have 10 homework assignments, you would take those 10 homework assignments, add them up, divide by 10, take that answer and multiply by the homework percentage. If you have 1 project, it is what it is. You take that grade, multiply by the project percent. Y'all with me? And they tell you to do it, but if nobody's told you how to do it, it makes it a little bit hard. Okay? So, this person would have an 81.25 average. Now, this is how Cooper does it. So, Cooper says, now, if you go to how my math lab says to do it, we're doing the same thing. Let me just show you what they say. They do 15 times 75 plus 20 times 90 plus 40 times 85 plus 25 times 72, and then they